Hey guys, welcome to Decisive. Welcome to another video, and today is time to talk about Ousmane Dembele, about what does Dembele need to do, or what needs to happen in order to have Ousmane Dembele evolve to that next step, to like being a good player, because he's a good player, and actually a very good player some of the times, but to be able to evolve and become that world-class top elite footballer that I am sure that Ousmane Dembele has the quality of. And what do I mean by this? I mean by saying that I'm going to compare him to the career that Raheem Sterling has had, and compare that to Ousmane Dembele and how he can evolve, and how what needs to happen in order for Ousmane Dembele to become one of the best players in the world for the next decade, if possible. I want to first start saying that there were other topics I wanted to discuss today, but I thought that this was the most important. It was actually very, if I have the time, I'm probably gonna do it. It's gonna be a very French orientated discussion, because I wanted to talk about the fantastic performances that Clement Lenglet has had at Barcelona since his arrival, about if we ever need to sign a midfielder, if something happens to Artur, Frenkie de Jong, or Riqui Puig, or if we want to transition some of the players out of midfield and we ever need a signing in midfield, about Jose Mawar, because I think that he's absolutely phenomenal. But I think that this is the most pressing topic, and I wanted to say, like, Sterling has had an evolution in the player that he's been considerably. That you can tell that Sterling has had 3 growth stages in his career, and that is before and after Brendan Rodgers, his first stage at Manchester City, and before and after Pep Guardiola. I think those are the 3 stages that you can consider Raheem Sterling, especially during Brendan Rodgers and Pep Guardiola, where you have Sterling being a different player at those stages specifically and becoming a different kind of player. And that is why I think that Ousmane Dembele has the quality to be one of the best 5 players in the world. Why? Because Ousmane Dembele, it's right now just pure raw talent. There's been literally, I don't see any coaching or little to no coaching in Ousmane Dembele. And if he's able to do what he does right now without the little coaching that he's been given, imagine what he could do if he was trained by Pep Guardiola, for example. I think that the sky's the limit. There's no ceiling to his potential, because I think he could be actually one of the best, if not the best player in the world. And you might say, well, this is crazy. Ousmane Dembele is just pure speed, and that's it. But his decision making is horrible. His shooting is always not as accurate. Well, you are right in that sense, yes. But at the same time, his shooting is more like decision making, because actually Ousmane Dembele has a pretty good shot. When he takes good decisions, his shot is actually pretty good. So I could say that Ousmane Dembele basically lacks decision making and intensity. And I don't mean intensity of running around the pitch, pressing like crazy. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, being intense, about being always a hassle for the opponent's defense, being always in the constant run. I think Ousmane Dembele needs to put himself mentally, he needs to position himself as a finisher, as a player that's gonna be, running in behind the defense. I know that he's a good dribbler and he likes to have the ball at his feet and do stuff with the ball, but I think that he needs to become a finisher. Someone that's going to go, look with the ball to the space, and be critical in that final third. That he's going to be able to be decisive in that final third. And combined with his good technical ability with the ball at his feet, and his blistering pace in attack, he's a player that is able to shoot equally well with both feet. That has a good shot, that let's not forget, like, you might say he doesn't have a good pass or anything, but he was, I believe, the highest assister in the season that he was at Borussia Dortmund, where he had like something like 15 or 16 assists during that season, and that was pretty good. That was pretty good for Ousmane Dembele. I think that, like, you might say that Ousmane Dembele will never be a goal scorer, will never be a top-class goal scorer, but you could say that the same thing about Raheem Sterling. And Raheem Sterling before Pep Guardiola was not the same player that he's right now. Like, right now you associate Raheem Sterling and you probably say he's the most, or if probably behind Kevin De Bruyne, he's the most important player in that team. He's the one that definitely is like the most reliable going forward. Like, on its own, he's probably the one that can make it the most difference in that team. Ousmane Dembele just needs to learn to do that similar thing. Like, Raheem Sterling, with Brendan Rodgers, was given the opportunity. He was transitioned from a wide player to playing central attacking midfield, and that suited him well. But he was a player that was producing a lot of chances. But there was a point in his career where he said, well, he had to, when he was with Pep Guardiola and starting coaching him, he had to make a decision. Raheem Sterling said that, was he going to be a player that was going to do a lot with the ball, that was going to be very flashy, that was going to do a lot of dribbling, but after that, not much, like not being very decisive, or just focus himself on being the focal point of the team and being very decisive on whatever he does now. And he took the right decision, because before, you could say Raheem Sterling was like most of the wingers, of the good wingers in world football. A lot of good quality with the ball, a lot of good dribbling, but now he's a player that he does. It's not that he dribbles less, just that he decides. His decision making it's absolutely phenomenal how he's improved, and I believe he's like 25, 24, 25. Still really young, still progressing to being one of the best players in the world, and he is right now one of the top 10 best players in the world for sure. He's evolved as his career is changed dramatically, and he's noticed. Basically, if I had to say, he's evolved in a way like Cristiano Ronaldo and Samuel Eto'o evolved in their early days. Cristiano Ronaldo at the same time was a player very similar. Like, if we remember the early Manchester United Cristiano Ronaldo, it's not the same one that left Manchester United in the summer of 2009. It was not the same player. Cristiano Ronaldo before had the mentality of being, that flashy player with a lot of skill dribbling, but then he became a finisher. And since he's been his whole career after that, he's just been a pure finisher, or mostly a pure finisher. He's been a decent creator. Well, not as good as Sterling, honestly. Sterling, I think, is a better creator, but especially he noticed that it was important to become a finisher. Like, he has the qualities, the physical qualities to do so, therefore he needs to become so. The same thing with Samuel Eto'o. Samuel Eto'o became that player that, you have this blistering pace, you have good control with the ball, and you just need to know how to finish. You don't have to finish right adjusted to the post. That's something that only if you are Lionel Messi or Ronaldo Nazario, you are able to do that comfortably. If not, just shoot to the weak side of the goalkeeper, and 9 times out of 10 that ball will go into the back of the net. If you put decent power on it and put it to the weak side of the goalkeeper, most of the time it will go in. And that is what I'm talking about. Raheem Sterling, his numbers have been something crazy. Like, he's been one of the most consistent players in the past 2 seasons. He's delivering week in and week out. He's been given magical points to Manchester City, and I think Ousmane Dembele needs to do the same. While having someone like Messi as the focal point of the team, having Ousmane Dembele being able to fulfill that role as David Villa or Pedro, and I'm saying he doesn't have to press as much as Pedro, but at least do that running behind, that attacking the space. It will be very differentiable for Barcelona, and it will be a tool that we desperately need, because right now, if you look at our squad, yes, Griezmann and Suarez running in behind, they're pretty good, they're pretty decent, but they're not what Suarez is not what he used to be, which was amazing, And Griezmann in that position, just it seems like he lost the way to do that, and specifically that left wing role, and he needs to adapt to that position again. But Ousmane Dembele is a player that, like Ansu Fati, are players that should be just straight up looking like that. Like, hey, you have a good shot, you have a good contact with the ball at your feet. Go ahead, run into the space, wait for Messi to deliver you a pass. And I'm sure that with Messi fully supporting Dembele in the attack, and Dembele just positioning himself and having good luck with injuries, then if he can keep himself fit, he can be a player for easily 30 goals and like 20 assists a season. And I'm not kidding, I'm just cutting myself short right there. Why? Because a Barcelona that works well, that works kinda well, not even well, like a Barcelona that runs like decently well, and that has Messi properly played in a false 9 possession with two players that are able to drag Marcos like Dembele, Ansu Fati, and Antoine Griezmann, a fit Luis Suarez. That's the kind of team that when you have everyone that can press and generate a lot of chances. With how many chances Barcelona make and produce a game, Ousmane Dembele can easily score multiple goals a season in multiple games, and that is something that we desperately need. It's something that is very important to, get out of him. Because if we're not able to get the best out of Ousmane Dembele, the best thing is to cut loose with him and look for someone that we can actually get the best of. Like, right now saying it's not popular opinion, and I know that you might say crazy, but Dembele has potential equal or more than Mbappe. Like, they're two different roles. They're both forwards, but they are two different roles of forwards. But Dembele has the potential to be at least the same as Mbappe. Not that he's going to score the same amount of goals, but that he's going to be as important as Mbappe is to his team right now. We need to put this mentality in him. That's why I think that Ernesto Valverde should really talk to Ousmane Dembele, should let him know, hey, you are a player that has a lot of potential. You have these qualities. Look, I see that you sometimes try to shoot to positions that don't make sense. Why don't you just try to shoot to the weak side of the goalkeeper and see how that works? You're shooting with both feet equally fine, so it's always a problem for defenders and for the goalkeeper to determine where the player is going to shoot with. You have also really good skill with your feet, so when you get to the final third and the other team is in close to themselves in a low block, you are able to take out players with your dribbling, get inside the box, and you have a good shot from outside the box. You have all the qualities of the making of a great player. Now it's just the time to get the best out of you. But if you don't want to be professional, or if we cannot get the best out of you, it will just be another case of a player that just situations made a player that was really promising another player of the bunch, and not be able to succeed at a club like Barcelona. So, with that said and done, leave me your opinions about Ousmane Dembele. Do you think that he has the potential to become one of the best players in the world? And what would you do to, fix Ousmane Dembele or get him to that next level that he needs to be by quality, by physical attributes? Leave me all your opinions in the comment section below. Comment, like, and subscribe. And I'll see you next one, Blaugranas.
I don't wanna waste what's left, and on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays.